with generative AI, you get into this scenario whereby the means of this new music reaching people, like it will be indistinguishable from human creations. We will not know the difference. It will be that good. And we're about to take another potential hit because what it looks like is each artist that is AI generated that begins to take up mind share and attention share from the streaming economy, right, suddenly puts more pressure and it becomes harder and harder to be seen because 120,000 songs a day is already too much. Double it, triple it, quadruple it, quintuple it, and then imagine that the tools of creation are put into the very places in which we experience music itself. So your social feed going forward has the button to create within it, and you're going to be receiving algorithmically pushed content to you, tailored for you specifically. So this disruption is profound. And so ultimately, when we look at AI in its sort of instantiation now, which is make me a song that sounds like, make me a video like, write me this paper that, on, those things are not problems humans generally had because the friction was the point. You remove the friction, all of a sudden, you're in a very, very strange space. I can imagine social media becoming incredibly addictive because it's going to be tailored literally for you and yet morally empty, right? It's junk food calories. It's not the real thing. And so whilst the mass, large, major label systems that are currently like kind of structurally dominant are going to begin to feel pressure, they will also license these technologies to serve them. So generally speaking, it's the smaller and independent sector that's going to get the short end of this. However, I believe there's profound power in that. Because in the same way that no one woke up this morning and said, I wish I had more content, what they do want is connection, experience, originality, and the thing that humans do best, particularly around music, which is the sound of it in a room with other people. So I think we could see a renaissance in that type of creativity. But, and this is the big caveat here, every music creator and everyone that works with music creators needs to absolutely and completely figure out how to protect their work and how to make sure that it is part of this AI revolution. And to break that down, what that means is you need to basically find the technical means, and there are a few out there, to show AI companies what your work is so that it can be licensed. And if you choose for moral reasons or creative reasons to not be part of it, you have to opt out. And opting out isn't writing a letter saying, please don't use my music. Opting out is a technical means of showing this AI how to avoid making something that sounds like you or that came from you. It's possible, it's very complicated and very difficult, but there are companies out there that do that, right? So attribution, figuring out when that prompt goes in, what comes out of it, what it came from, that is the ball game. Because in the future, if we don't know what is opted in and opted out, and if the AI companies don't know what is opted in and opted out, and critically don't respect that, then you have a scenario in which you go onto your favorite streaming service on your smart TV. Make me a TV show starring myself, my three bandmates, and Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts circa 2004. Give it a soundtrack kind of like Reservoir Dogs and put Jean-Michel Basquiat art on the wall. So all of those things belong to somebody. And when the TV show is generated on the fly, there will be no sync licensing for the soundtrack. It can generate from what it knows or has access to or has licensed. So if your music, your work is not opted in and being attributed to, then when it takes a piece of a melody that you worked on, some lyrics you worked on, a way that you play the guitar, when it takes from that, if it doesn't know how to pay you, you're simply written out of the equation, but it will make it anyway. So the most important things to remember when it comes to musicians and creatives and AI is, in my opinion, you want to opt in your work for AI training at terms that include attribution back to you when it is used. It's really quite simple. It's a simple form of licensing, very technically hard to do, but that's not your job. Your job is to make sure that you're doing it. Your job is to look up every company that does AI attribution and find a way in. If you're offered it via your distributor or via your record label, your publisher, your whatever it is, my suggestion is if the terms look right, take it. But most importantly, if the terms do not include attribution, do not take it. Because minus attribution, your share is going to be put into a market share pie, which the larger companies will dominate because they're the ones making the deals. And the good news is that there are services out there that creators can use, but this is, again, one of those scenarios whereby as a musician and creator, for your financial well-being, you want to make sure that you're part of this revolution in a way that is comfortable for you morally. However, if those things are making billions of dollars for somebody, some of that is owed to you because it was people like the musicians and artists that taught these machines how to make songs, that taught these machines how to make these videos. Our human work is being regurgitated by these machines in novel ways, but it's still our human work. And so my rule is, if someone's using my work, I want to get paid. It's really fair. And if for some reason you don't want it to be used in a certain way, those platforms do exist. But again, we must beware the large overarching narratives of technologists in general who present technology as inevitable and as an unstoppable force like gravity, right? If everyone doesn't switch to streaming, piracy will rule the world, right? That was the myth. And look what happened. It transferred the wealth up to the technology companies. Google did pretty good. YouTube did pretty good, right? And true, a bunch of creators did. But if you look at the actual statistics on this, right, and this is really illustrative, about 9 million artists create music that winds up on Spotify, and about 100,000 of them make about 100 grand a year. Those numbers are not good. It's not finding the middle. And so I think ultimately we need to look at this and say, how is this going to affect me? What do I want? But most critically, doing nothing is the same thing as just handing the wealth over. You have to take action, and you need to look at platforms, ask the tough question. And if you get offered a deal that says, hey, we'd like to license your work for AI, but we're not going to show you how it's used, we're not going to tell you what it leads to, then the answer will be, no, I'm out. But just to summarize, from a creative level, AI is going to have profound effects that are going to empower creations like we've never seen, but there will be a downside. And at a financial level, if we're not part of what AIs make, we just won't get paid, but they will keep growing.